I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what today is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. What a good day is. What a good day is.
All right, y'all, we made it.
And that's exactly what today is.
We did it. It's that time. It's a beautiful day. 2025 is almost here. Can you believe it? Oh my God. Thank y'all for being here, man. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're going to get into it. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody. I see the 1, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see how we looking up here first. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Looking all crispy and clean on the screen. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the Music Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE Beats at ClassEbeats.com. And hold on, stop the music, stop the music. Hold on. This is the last episode of 2024. Man, it has been an amazing year. Thank y'all so much. Man, there's so much I could share about what happened this year, what went on this year. I'm grateful and thankful for so much. I'm grateful and thankful for every single one of y'all for being here. I cannot believe 2024 is gone, but we're gonna enjoy it while the rest of it lasts. So we still got a little bit of time left. We're gonna have a great show today, have a good time, and I appreciate everybody who's in here. Speaking of, let me say what's up to the family, man. See how y'all are doing this morning. Shout out to everybody who's in here. Of course, we have my awesome, amazing Amy is in the building. Always in here showing love. This is the first year Amy officially came over to the platform and has been putting in work ever since. Amy, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm so grateful and thankful for you. This past 6 to 7 months that you've been here in this community in my life have been amazing. So thank you for absolutely everything. And you know how much you mean to me. So thank you so much. We got Michi in the building, Olivia Rose, Les Cleaver, Aphids, Lady E, D is up in here, Fatima, Barbara. We've got Connie D is back at it. Rice Street in here harassing me already. My dog Les Cleaver is in the building. Good to see y'all. Who do we have? Nicholas back at it. Demetrius Loudman is in the building. Okay, good to see you. Good to see you. We've got Monterisa is in the building. We've got Brandon up in here. Gerald Harrell. We've got S Dub back at it. Rabbit, good to see you. Ryan is in here. Patricia, Heather. Oh my gosh, who else we got here? We've got Shay is in the building too. Good to see you, Shay. Did I miss any? I know I missed a bunch of people. Kathy is in here. We got Denise, Paige, Tammy, Joy, Zahir is back at it. Papa John. Amy says handsome. I mean, I try. Freddie Harris is in here. Thank you, Amy. Freddie Harris is back at it. Good to see you back, man. And who else do we have? I think I got most of y'all. I'll be saying good morning as we go throughout the show. I know I'm running late today, so but I promise y'all it's gonna be worth it because we're about to have an official Fani Willis smoke show. This is gonna be a good one, so y'all strap in, get ready. It's gonna be a lot of fun. My guy Les Cleaver is in the building. Thank you so much for the super chat with the 2 bomb. He says last show of 2024. God bless you all. Thank you, Les. God bless you as well. Thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate the love and support that you've shown to the community. Also, Rice Street, thank you to Monterisa in here, says thank you, ClassE and Amy. Appreciate you so much. Amber Dawn, good morning. Leona, what's up? Virginia, good to see you. Nikki Lynn says ClassE, finding your platform has literally put a smile on my face during some tough times this year. You never know how much you may be changing a life. Happy 2025. Thank you for that, Nikki Lynn. And you know, I appreciate you saying that because, you know, showing up every day, I love it and I enjoy it, but it definitely is a grind. And to hear that it's having a positive impact on your life really means a lot to me. And I appreciate you letting me know. Bad Bunny's up in here. We got Rona in the building as well. Says thank you for all the shows in 2024. May you continue in 2025. Oh, happy Hogmanay, as we say here in Scotland. All right, that's dope. And I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that, but it means it means good health in Gaelic. All right, shout out to our friends over there across the pond in Scotland. I appreciate y'all. Oh man. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into it for real. Let me see. Who else did I miss? Shout out to Mo Mac is in here as well, dropping the 3 bomb. Says next time. I know 2024 is gone. Oh, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. All right, let me turn down Keely and get the music ready. And we should be good. I think I got everybody in there. If y'all could, I don't ask much on this show, but if y'all could, please make sure that you like the video. Not only are likes free, not only does it help the channel continue to grow, but it lets the YouTube algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show and it shares the video with more people. So if y'all could take 2 seconds and do that, I would greatly appreciate it. And it really does help us out. We got over 300 of y'all in the building. Thank you to everybody that's in here. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. Also, I'll be reading super chats as y'all send them throughout the show. This first segment is going to be super quick, but we've got another win for Tony Busby in the game. Y'all check this out. And shout out to Megan for posting this over on X. What does she say? She says, Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, is withdrawing his motion about attorney Busby preserving evidence in the lawsuit after he served Busby with a notice to do just that. Looks like Jay-Z's backtracking a little bit after they got in trouble with the judge. It says, accordingly, Mr. Carter respectfully requests to withdraw the motion as moot. What does it say here? We've got an email or a letter, however you want to look at it. It says, Dear Judge Torres, we write on behalf of defendant Sean Carter concerning his motion for an order for the preservation of evidence. It's going to be referred to as the motion moving forward. In an effort to resolve the motion on December 30th, 2024, Mr. Carter served a document preservation notice concerning evidence related to this action and others. Given that Mr. Busby's counsel has indicated that they are permitted to accept service on behalf, Mr. Carter's service of this notice today. As such, the court need not intervene to issue a preservation order at this time. Accordingly, Mr. Carter respectfully requests to withdraw the motion as moot. Respectfully submitted, Quinn Emanuel and Sullivan LLP. And then Alex Spiro signed that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes moving forward, because Judge Torres basically put them straight in her response to all the memos and the motions that had been submitted to the court and said, Listen, I'm not going to change the legal process for you, Alex Spiro. I don't care who your client is, Jay-Z. You need to get it together. We're going to go through the process. The client of Tony Busby is going to be allowed to remain anonymous, and we're just going to keep it moving. So y'all are going to have to chill. So it looks like they're kind of backtracking a little bit. They're going to take things a little bit slower, and we'll see what happens moving forward. Y'all have to let me know what happens, what you think is going to happen with this. I asked you guys a couple live streams ago if you think Jay-Z was going to win this or Tony Busby was going to win it. So we might have to run that back as well. All right, we got a couple more super chats in here as well. Thank you so much. Shout out to Nikki Lynn with the 5 bomb. Says keep up the great work. We're not going to stop. Hold on a second. Appreciate you and thank you so much, Nikki Lynn. We've also got beautiful messy balls in here too. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all don't give Rice Street any money. Rice Street gets nothing. All right. Sorry. And Perfect Peace is in here as well. We've got Cynthia in the building. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the main topic that y'all came here for. We're going to talk about Fani Willis today. It's going to be fun. Freddie Harris says this was all the tactic. Jay said something in one of the meetings. They let him know how things are run. So everybody had to get back in line. Yeah, Jay-Z said he wanted them to go down this route. They said, okay, but I'm telling you, this is how it's going to go. And of course, it did turn out that way. The Honorable Attorney Kel Bell is in here as well. Shout out to you. We've got Rice Street says, stop blocking my blessings. Rice Street, you've been blessed. Stop it. You got $300 million plus. You don't do that. Shout out to Rice Street. So we went from I'm going to have your job and ruin your reputation to we respectfully withdraw. Oh, man.
Niggas lacking.
No need to be. We've also got Les says Happy New Year to everybody. Yeah, and shout out to Mo Mac as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Let me get this headline up here. Oh, Fani Willis is in trouble. And I mentioned this several live streams ago and talking about most likely what's going to happen moving forward with Joe Biden seemingly not making any moves to protect Kamala Harris, to protect Fani Willis, to protect the mayor of Atlanta, who were all involved in everything that went down with this indictment when it comes to the election tampering, as we saw here in Atlanta. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to Fani because it's looking like she's the one that's going to catch all of this ish that's rolling downhill from this indictment. Now that Trump's getting into office, it seems like things are being rolled back. And as we found out yesterday, now they're going to be able to subpoena Fani Willis. Is she going to respond and show up? We don't know. Check it out.
Well, tonight, a judge has ruled that Georgia's state Senate can subpoena Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis as part of an inquiry into potential misconduct during her prosecution of former President Donald Trump, now President-elect Donald Trump. A Fulton County Superior Court judge gave Willis until January 13th to argue whether the subpoenas are overly broad or seek confidential information. Nope. The Senate committee, led by Republicans, has been investigating allegations of misconduct, focusing on Willis's hiring of special prosecutor Nathan Wade, who she had a romantic relationship with. 11 Alive spoke with former assistant Fulton County DA Daryl Cohen this afternoon, and he says that the legal battle over this issue is just getting started.
I believe that they have to go to the Court of Appeals, which, when they rule, can also be appealed to the Supreme Court. And all of this will condense. It seems like it's going to be forever, but at some point it's going to condense.
And a lawyer for Willis tells the Associated Press that she plans to appeal this decision with the Georgia Supreme Court, in part because some of the documentation she's been asked to turn over to the Senate are confidential and could possibly compromise the election interference case.
Yeah, so nobody cares about that because she's about to get it. She's about to get it. Oh, hold on a second. Ooh, did not mean to play that. So now we have news this morning that the Attorney General just came out and is saying that he wants the Supreme Court to reject Fani Willis's request. It's getting bad, y'all. Now, we're going to talk about Chris Carr a little bit later. He's the current attorney general here in Georgia, and he's actually going to run for governor coming up next year, or in the next 2 years, excuse me. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. Check out this article from Fox 5. It says AG Carr urges the state Supreme Court to reject DA Willis's appeal in the Trump case. Here we go. Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr is urging the Supreme Court of Georgia not to take up an appeal by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis in her attempt to prosecute President-elect Donald Trump and his allies in the Georgia election interference case. And there were 19 other people indicted in this case as well. Again, we'll get to that in another video a little bit later. Carr, who announced in November that he plans to run for governor, posted the statement on his X account reading, "The Georgia Court of Appeals has ruled that the Fulton County DA created her own conflict and rightfully removed her from the case against President-elect Trump. Lawfare has become far too common in American politics, and it must end. As such, I would encourage the Georgia Supreme Court to not take her appeal. It is our hope that the DA will now focus taxpayer resources on the successful prosecution of violent criminals in Fulton County." Yo, we've been saying this, and shout out to AG Chris Carr. All this money that she spent and wasted in this YSL trial, all the money that was spent and wasted on the Trump trial, all the money that was spent and wasted on Fani Willis's vacations with Nathan Wade. I mean, she paid this man, what, $700,000? Needs to stop, and she needs to be held accountable because I want a refund. All right, and here's his official statement that we just read here, and you guys can follow Chris Carr over on X. He also has a YouTube channel as well. Doesn't post as much, but he might be posting a lot more often since he's running for governor soon. The case against Trump and more than a dozen others has already been largely stalled for months while the Georgia Court of Appeals considered the pre-trial appeal. Earlier this month, the 3-judge panel voted in a 2-1 to disqualify Willis from the case, and she was not happy about it. But you know who was happy about it? They're calling her YSL Barbie. Ashley Merchant actually got a chance and an opportunity to speak on this with Fox News. We're going to check it out here in a second. She's going to give her take on what went down and why she's finally thankful that this is happening. All her hard work is paying off.
Hey,
of course, we got to add, my bad, y'all. We'll get into it here in a second. Also, just to give y'all a little bit of background on Chris Carr too, while we wait for this to load. And shout out to, I think it was 11 Alive for this.
And tonight, Georgia's 2026 race for governor has its very first candidate. Today, Attorney General Chris Carr announced his bid to become the state's leader. Carr is the first major candidate from any party to announce a run for governor. Carr says that he's ready to build on Georgia's success, making the state an even better place to work, raise a family, and grow businesses.
Yep. So Chris Carr, he's going to be running. If y'all are in Fulton County or in Georgia in general, make sure you look up and find out more information about Chris Carr. We'll be talking about him a little bit later.
Well, President-elect Donald Trump's final legal battle is likely over after a Georgia appeals court disqualified Fulton County DA Fani Willis and her team from Trump election interference case. That one, remember? The court writing, an appearance of impropriety generally is not enough to support disqualification. This is the rare case in which disqualification is mandated and no other remedy will suffice to restore public confidence in the integrity of these proceedings. Attorney Ashley Merchant led the effort to oust Willis from the case, and she joins us right now. Ashley, good morning to you.
Single-handedly ruined this lady's career.
Okay, so if you would, just let's start at the beginning. Explain how you had knowledge that nobody else had that Nathan Wade was having a relationship with the DA, Fani Willis, who hired him.
I know. It's a unique set of circumstances. It's really relationships. So I knew the partner. I knew Nathan Wade. I knew Nathan Wade personally. I knew Fani Willis personally. And I also knew their friends and law partners, their former friends and law partners. And so they, in the legal community, we were talking about this, and they divulged all of this information to me. And I just sort of started tracking it down and closing different loops and investigating. And it blossomed into something that I knew I had to do something about and became actionable.
You're right. And we saw it play out, months ago, where the judge in the case was trying to figure out, hey, is there a conflict of interest here? It was so obvious there was. And the irony is the case of the conflict of interest was so much stronger, actually, than the case against Donald Trump.
I know. It really was. I mean, it was something that you couldn't turn your eye away from. And I think that's what the Court of Appeals said. This is just, it's one of those things that you know it when you see it. It's the appearance of impropriety. It is so great that it had to be enough to kick them off the case. And I think it's clear, how Fani Willis has dug in from the beginning. She started this, and, she could have done the right thing early on whenever we brought this to everyone's attention and said, hey, let's have a neutral prosecutor handle this case. Let's have someone else look at it. But I think she was terrified because her case is so weak. She didn't want to have someone look at it.
And in fact, she has been saying, up until the bitter end, she would go ahead and wait until the end of the Trump term to bring this case if necessary. Donald Trump had a statement to Fox News Digital. He said, there is no way such corrupt people can lead a case and then gets taken over by somebody else. The case is entirely dead. Everybody should receive an apology, including those wonderful patriots who have been caught up in this for years.
Yeah, and can we get a refund too? I mean, that's what we really want here in Fulton County. Also, I want to ask y'all about this. How much of this turn of events do you think is because Donald Trump is now the president-elect? Because it really changes everything for Fani Willis, specifically in this case, because a lot of it with him being the president would go away anyway. So I want to know, y'all let me know in the comments of this video, how much of it do you think is because Trump is now getting into office, or is it actually because the Court of Appeals said, yeah, Ashley Merchant was right. We need to get Fani out of here. Yeah, let me get that refund.
That's what he says. The Wall Street Journal today, Ashley says, a smart move for Georgia would be to end this, drop the case that never should have been brought. But technically, they could keep it alive. It's really up to the state, right?
Right. It's up to a group called Prosecuting Attorneys Council, PAC. It's an independent prosecuting agency. They can decide what to do. But Burt Jones was early, who's our lieutenant governor in Georgia. He was taken off the case early. He was separated out, and Fani Willis was disqualified. Right. And when they looked at that, they said, we're not going to prosecute this. So I've always thought if a neutral prosecutor, someone who didn't have a financial interest in this case and a political interest in this case, looked at it, that they would see things differently, and they would decide that the taxpayers, the courts, the people who are charged both, they deserve this case to be dismissed.
Well, congratulations to you. This was what you were after. You really cracked the case, so Christmas came early for you.
It did come early. Thank you so much.
You bet. Ashley, thank you very much.
Huge win for Ashley Merchant, and congratulations again. I want to read this article from the AJC. They talk a little bit more into detail, not only about Chris Carr, but interestingly enough, Fani Willis somehow found the time to respond to what Chris Carr said, but she can't show up to hearings that she's subpoenaed for. She's just letting everything fall apart when it comes to this case in the YSL trial. This is wild. Check out what Fani Willis had to say about this. Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr pressed the state's top court Monday to disregard an appeal that could breathe new life into Fulton County's election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump and his allies. Carr, a Republican candidate for governor, told the AJC that the state Court of Appeals rightfully disqualified District Attorney Fani Willis and her office from pursuing racketeering charges against Trump and 14 co-defendants. And then we have a statement here again. Lawfare has become far too common in American politics and must end, Carr said. As such, I would encourage the Georgia Supreme Court to take her appeal. Now, his stance was quickly seconded by Governor Brian Kemp. Man, Fani Willis is in trouble. She has the whole state of Georgia against her right now. Although Fulton County still voted her in somehow. I don't know. Brian Kemp, a political ally who said Georgians deserve safe communities and partisan politics out of our courtrooms. Oh my gosh. It also brought an immediate rebuke from Willis, who accused him of being more focused on the politics of the 2026 Republican primary rather than the law. Carr is the head of an office that provides legal counsel to Georgia's executive branch and prosecutes violent crimes across the state. But he has no power over what cases the Georgia Supreme Court takes up. He does have some influence there. I think we could all agree in that. Still, his statement is his latest effort to build support among Trump allies ahead of what's expected to be a fierce GOP primary battle to succeed Governor Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp cannot run again. This is his second term. Who cannot? Oh, okay. Yep. There we go. Who cannot seek a third term. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, a key Trump ally who was probed by Willis's grand jury, is among Carr's expected rivals for the party's nomination. And Jones wasted little time in slamming Carr for waiting so long to speak up, and said the state Senate will investigate Willis's use of public funds. There again, they're going after this lady. I've said for years that Fani Willis orchestrated a political charade against President Trump, he said on X. When he had opportunities to lead, our attorney general was missing in action. Where he failed, the Georgia Senate won't, Jones said. We look forward to holding her accountable at a future hearing. Shout out to our guy, Mr. Jones, man. I love to see this. Carr has been more muted than other GOP leaders in his criticism of Willis's probe, partially because he was subpoenaed to testify in the investigation and could be called as a witness at trial. It's probably best for him to stay out of it. I agree. Shortly after the appellate court's ruling disqualified Willis over her one-time romantic relationship with former special prosecutor in this case, Nathan Wade, as we know, Carr broadly panned what he described as political prosecutions in an interview with AJC's Politically Georgia without taking direct aim at Willis. So now it's open season on Fani Willis, apparently. One of the things we need to do in politics is stay in our lane, Carr said, adding, I would just suggest it is not going to serve our nation well if we go after our political enemies if we don't like what they've done, if in office or not. But Carr sharpened his stance on Monday with a statement that called for Willis to focus taxpayers' resources on successful prosecution of violent crimes in Fulton County. He's playing the political game. I can't be mad at it. It's all a part of the game they have to play. It's not immediately clear how soon Georgia's Supreme Court could decide whether to take up the case, though legal experts say the process could take weeks or months. If the appeals court ruling stands, jurisdiction over the Trump case will shift to a nonpartisan state agency known as the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, which would decide who to assign it to next. No one's going to take this case. I'm telling y'all. So they might as well just drop the whole thing. But only a handful of local offices have the resources to take on such a complex case, and it's not clear whether there are other prosecutors who would raise their hands to take on such a controversial matter. Nope. As for Willis, her statement was a rare public comment since the appeal court's ruling a week ago. She described Carr as a witness in the case he is trying to influence and accusing him of playing politics. It's not illegal. If Mr. Carr cannot separate his ambitions to become governor from his duties as attorney general, Fani Willis said, he should resign and focus on being a full-time candidate rather than serving as a constitutional officer sworn to uphold the Constitution and laws of the United States and Georgia. Man, Fani Willis has had enough. But as we know, everyone who's on the side that wants to see justice in this instance is absolutely loving this. Ashley Merchant, even after her interview with Fox and Friends, went on X to say this. So Fani Willis is too busy to respond to a lawful Senate subpoena or open records lawsuit, both failures costing taxpayers lots of money, but can respond quickly to a comment by the Georgia's attorney general. If she had paid the same attention she did to Attorney General Carr's statement, as she did, to actually investigating the YSL trial or managing her office, maybe taxpayers wouldn't have wasted so much money on her media projects. Wow. That's tough. And here's the statement here from Fani Willis. We already read that. We, of course, have more people speaking out about this. Steve Sadow, we know who Steve Sadow is, says DA Willis's knee-jerk response to Attorney General Carr's powerful statement is vintage Willis. She pays her hand-picked prosecutor lover nearly $1 million, attempts to conceal her intimate relationship from the citizens of Georgia until exposed in a motion, blatantly attempts to paint the accused as racist in a speech in a historic Atlanta black church upon being exposed, and her overall conduct and testimony in court give rise to the trial finding an odor of mendacity. But she wants Attorney General Carr to resign for telling truths, simply dumbfounding. And then, of course, we got Uncle Doug up in here, had to speak on it as well, giving some praise to Ashley Merchant and Steve Sadow. He said, well said. Her judgment and lack of prosecutorial direction do a disservice to the people of Fulton County. The taxpayers of Fulton County deserve a DA who will focus on effectively prosecuting crimes and not their own political ambitions and personal financial gain, which that seems to be her main focus. She is losing good prosecutors from Fulton, and those that remain deserve sound leadership and support. No prosecutor should be forced into a position of having to go into court to defend her unserious actions. Yeah, Abadi's over there sweating, man. Y'all know Abadi is, it seems like he's Fani's right-hand man right now. And I'm sure he's about to get put to work. I feel bad for the guy. Doug Weinstein made a video about it over on TikTok as well. Y'all check out what he had to say here.
So, I'm sorry if I'm a bit flabbergasted.
Oh, we all are.
Madam DA Fani Willis, this statement she puts out about Chris Carr is really astounding.
But not surprising.
Saying that he is more focused on politics than the law. This is coming from an individual who appoints their lover to lead a prosecution of a former president of the United States on extraordinarily serious charges, thus completely blowing any chance of a successful prosecution of that case, assuming that it even had merit.
That's true.
And on top of which is totally absurdly prosecuting the YSL music label. I just don't even know what to say. To say that Chris Carr is being political when clearly Madam DA Fani Willis is unbelievably political in going after the former president, presumably for Democratic votes, going after YSL, presumably for Republican votes, in what is clearly some attempt at gaining higher office. This is a ridiculous response, and the people of Fulton County deserve a DA who will focus on them, the people, and not their own political careers.
Yeah, and with Fani Willis, we know that's not going to happen. She hasn't been accountable for anything. She's played the victim this entire time. You saw mentioned by Steve Sadow, she went to a church while the trial was ongoing, which is prosecutorial misconduct 101, and was talking about and insinuating certain things, not only about future President Donald Trump, but she was talking about how she was being persecuted and how God took her on a mission. And that's why she was here, as she was paying her boyfriend almost $1 million and going on vacations. And this is just bad. And man, Fani Willis, she's got a lot she's going to answer for, because it seems like no one's out on her side at this point. Even Doug Weinstein, who is actually in Fulton County and knows what's going on behind the scenes in the DA's office, he sees that people are leaving. She's losing people. What do y'all think is going to happen? Let me know in the comments and in the chat. It's about to get wild for Fani Willis. Shout out to y'all too, man. This is the Fani Willis Smoke Show, because we are not done. We've got some more. We've got some more we're going to talk about with Fani. We're going to do a little bit of a rewind coming up here soon. And we're going to go back in time a little bit and see how Fani got into this situation in the first place. But man, good morning to everybody who's in here saying good morning too. Joshua Collins is in here. We got Ducky Dexter in the building as well. Good to see you. And we've got some super chats in the building too. Thank y'all for the super chats. What are y'all saying in here? We've got, oh, my guy Les Cleaver just gifted 5 memberships. All right, Les, I see you. If you got one of those memberships from Les Cleaver, make sure you say thank you. And I appreciate you, Les, for that. We've also got Joshua Collins as well. He says, thank you for the daily positivity. Thank you for being here and for being a member for 2 months as well. I appreciate you, man. And then The World's End has been a member for 4 months, says, wishing all a very happy and peaceful 2025. It's going to be a great year, man. I'm excited for 2025. 2024 was amazing, and it's only going to get better. Samson is in here as well. Good morning to you. We've got Bitter Lily is in the building as well. Sharice is in here. Good to see you. Monica. Who else we have? We've got Pretty Sandro is in the building as well. Nana Banana, Kim Johnson. Good to see y'all. If y'all could. Oh, CS is in here too. What's up, CS? Just take a second and like the video. Likes are free, and it really does help the channel continue to grow. So if y'all could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to keep begging until we get to 100% likes. We're actually at, oh my gosh, over 50%. 1,000 of y'all liked the video. I think we had 1,700 of you in here. Thank y'all for the love. All right, let's get into our next segment, because we're not done with Fani Willis here. Actually, before we get into Fani Willis, I did want to read this quick article about Chris Carr. Again, just to give y'all a little bit of background. Now, Chris Carr, there are people who have mixed feelings about Chris Carr, because he has been involved in a lot of the gang stuff that went on in, oh wow, that is a big ad, here in Georgia and in Fulton County and just across Georgia in general. But we're going to look into it here. I'm just going to read this real quick, and then we'll go on to the next Fani Willis Smoke Show. Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr launches Republican bid in 2026 for the governor's race. What are they saying? Georgia's Republican Attorney General Chris Carr said Thursday that he's running for governor in 2026. This is where a lot of the back and forth, the shots being taken by Fani Willis at Chris Carr comes from, because he's going to be running for governor. He's already in office as the Attorney General, working under technically Brian Kemp, and they're working closely together. But I mean, this is just again, a part of the game. Fani Willis wants to play the game to benefit her, but she doesn't like it when somebody else does the same thing. But that's typical for Fani, right? Anyway, Georgia's Republican Attorney General Chris Carr said Thursday that he's running for governor in 2026, becoming the first major candidate from either party to announce a bid. Prominent Republicans and Democrats are eyeing the seat, which will be open in 2 years, after term limit Republican Governor Brian Kemp leaves office. Another potential Republican contender is Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. We just talked about him. And Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Yeesh. Carr is portraying himself as the best candidate to continue steady Republican leadership in the mold of the late U.S. Senator Johnny Isakson, former Governor Nathan Deal, and Kemp. I've seen what it takes to be successful, Carr told the Associated Press in a phone interview, and I want to run as the proven conservative who will create jobs for hardworking Georgians, keep our families and neighborhoods safe, and vigorously defend our Constitution and freedoms. Carr has aligned closely with Kemp, but could face opposition for President-elect Donald Trump and his supporters in the primary election. Jones has been close to Trump and would likely angle for his endorsement. By contrast, Trump endorsed primary opponents who ultimately lost to both Carr and Raffensperger in 2022, fueled by his displeasure that neither Carr nor Raff, we're going to call him Raff, backed Trump's attempt to overturn his 2020 presidential election loss in Georgia. A lot of them were quiet on this, and we'll have to see how that plays out. But I can't imagine Trump really caring that much about what happens with the governor race in 2 years. He's going to have a lot on his plate in general, right? Carr said he was confident that he could win on issues and appeal to enough voters to win a Republican primary, despite his past differences with Trump. This race isn't going to be about loud somebody yells or about how loud somebody yells or screams. It's going to be about a conservative record, he said. And I'm the one that has that. It's exceptionally early to announce a 2026 political bid. Customarily, statewide candidates in Georgia would announce sometime after 2025's legislative season, but Carr let it be known more than a year ago that he was lining up donors for a run. That's in part because Jones and Raff are much more wealthy than Carr. Well, that's a part of the game, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Anyway, we could go through reading this article. I'm not going to get that much into it. If y'all want to check it out, I can drop the link in the description for you. You can find out more about Chris Carr. I know everybody who's watching the show is not in Georgia or in Fulton County, so y'all don't have to worry about it too much. Let's get back into the Fani Willis Smoke Show. Here we go. Now, what we're going to do is we've got a little bit of a rewind here. Let me make sure we're good there. And I want to kind of go back and look at how Fani Willis got here in the first place. Everything leading up to this, from her announcing, which we're going to see here, that she was bringing up this indictment against Donald Trump and the other defendants, to her closest friend testifying against her, to Ashley Merchant absolutely cooking Fani Willis in open court. So this is the press conference that took place back, over a year ago. And it's interesting to hear Fani Willis's take on this. If y'all haven't seen this yet, check it out. It's crazy. There she is. And look who's right next to her. Oh, man. Look at Nathan Wade over there. A cute couple. Oh, man. Here we go.
Thank you for joining us. I'm here with the prosecutors and investigators who have worked diligently on the investigation of criminal attempts to interfere in the administration of Georgia's 2020 presidential election. Today, based on information developed by that investigation, a Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment, charging 19 individuals with violations of Georgia law arising from a criminal conspiracy to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in this state.
Prove it.
The indictment includes 41 felony counts and is 97 pages long. Please remember that everyone charged in this bill of indictment is presumed innocent. Specifically, the indictment brings felony charges against John Trump, Rudolph William Louis Giuliani, John Charles Eastman, Mark Randall Meadows, John Cheeseborough, Jeffrey Clark, Jenna Lynn Ellis.
I know they all be talking like they're Mike Stallworth.
Stallings Smith III, Robert David Cheeley, Michael A. Roman, David James Schaefer, Sean Micah Tresher Steele, Stephen Clifford Lee, Harrison William Prescott Floyd.
Yeah, we got it. Okay.
Scott.
Yes.
Emily Misty Hayes.
Good grief.
Every individual charged in the indictment is charged with one count of violating Georgia's Racketeer, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act through participation in a criminal enterprise in Fulton County, Georgia, and elsewhere to accomplish the illegal goal of allowing Donald J. Trump to seize the presidential term of office beginning on January 20th, 21. Specifically, the participants in association took various actions in Georgia and elsewhere to block the counting of the votes of the presidential electors who were certified as the winners of Georgia's 2020 general election. As you examine the indictment, you will see acts that are identified as overt acts.
Oh, not more overt acts. Oh, no.
Predicate acts.
Oh, gosh.
Sometimes called acts of racketeering activity. Overt acts are not necessarily crimes under Georgia law in isolation, but are alleged to be acts taken in furtherance of the conspiracy. Many occurred in Georgia, and some occurred in other jurisdictions and are included because the grand jury believes they were part of the illegal effort to overturn the results of Georgia's 2020 presidential election.
Mm-hmm.
The acts identified as predicate acts or acts of racketeering activity are crimes that are alleged to have been committed in furtherance of the criminal enterprise. Acts of racketeering activity are also charged as separate counts in the indictment against those who are alleged to have committed them. All elections in our nation are administered by these states, which are given the responsibility of ensuring a fair process and an accurate counting of the votes. That includes elections for presidential electors, Congress, state officials, and local offices. The state's role in this process is essential to the functioning of our democracy. Georgia, like every state,
Fani loves her overt acts too.
Those who believe that results of an election are wrong, whether because of intentional wrongdoing or unintentional error, to challenge those results in our state courts. The indictment alleges that rather than abide by Georgia's legal process for election challenges, the defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise to overturn Georgia's presidential election result. Subsequent to the indictment, as is the normal process in Georgia law, the grand jury issued arrest warrants for those who are charged. I am giving the defendants the opportunity to voluntarily surrender no later than noon on Friday, the 25th day of August, 2023. I remind everyone here that an indictment is only a series of allegations based on a grand jury's determination of probable cause to support the charges.
Which are
it is now the duty of my office to prove these charges in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt at trial. I would like to take a moment to thank the Superior Court Clerk, Shay Alexander, and her staff for staying late and making sure that this indictment was processed. I would also like to thank the men and women of Sheriff Labatt's office.
Oh, not Labatt. Can we take a second? She tried to kiss up to Labatt. Even Labatt has thrown Fani Willis under the bus. I'm telling y'all, Fani Willis is not safe. I keep saying this over and over and over. This lady is going to get thrown under the biggest bus in history. Sheriff Labatt in multiple press conferences has turned against Fani Willis. He said, well, the DA, the reason we're having so many issues in Rice Street And the reason we're having so many issues in the jails is because how the DA's office is choosing to prosecute these cases, how they're bringing these indictments, their overuse of certain charges. It's her fault. It's this lady's fault right here. Labat blamed Fani Willis for the issues they were having in the jail. She's not safe. Oh man. I know y'all heard that this is just getting started. This is just getting started for real, because Fani Willis is about to get it for real. Not from Nathan Wade either.
On Friday, the 25th day of August, 2023.
I'm telling you.
I remind everyone here that an indictment is only a series of allegations based on a grand jury's determination of probable cause to support the charges. It is now the duty of my office to prove these charges in the indictment beyond
it's gonna be so bad for her.
Doubt at trial. I would like to take a moment to thank the Superior Court Clerk, Shay Alexander, and her staff for staying late and making sure that this indictment was processed. I would also like to thank the men and women of Sheriff Labat's office for keeping the courthouse open, but most importantly for keeping us safe over the weeks and months that have led up to this indictment, and for what I know they will continue to do to keep us safe.
Keep us safe. That's our whole thing. Keep us safe.
The Atlanta Police Department and other law enforcement partners who have worked with the sheriff to keep us safe. I will now take a very limited number of questions prior to going to sleep.
Yikes. She keeps running on this, keep us safe, keep us safe, keep us safe, when we all need to be safe from Fani Willis. And Demetrius said it in the chat. Fulton County, what were y'all doing, man? There's more I obviously need to do in educating people about what's going on here in Fulton County, because hadn't y'all seen enough? Why is this woman in office for another 4 years? Why? I don't get it. People are either there's this that race, gender, and party loyal, or they're just really not paying attention to what's going on in the world, because this is crazy. Or maybe they just hated Courtney Kramer. I don't know. I don't get it, man. It's embarrassing.
The RICO charges has time that you have to serve, so it is not a probated sentence.
She loves RICO.
What is the timetable for the trial? As you know, in this jurisdiction, trials are set by the judges. And so it will be the judge that sets the
I know, Anton.
trial.
I know.
This office will be submitting a proposed scheduling order within this week. However, that will totally be at the discretion of the judge.
And you want to be the fourth jurisdiction now to indict Donald Trump. You would be the fourth one to try him, or could you move it up? You want to be the first to try him?
I don't have any desire to be first or last. I want to try him and be respectful for our sovereign states. We do want to move this case along, and so we will be asking for a proposed order that occurs a trial date within the next 6 months.
Madam District Attorney, earlier today there was a fictitious document, according to the Fulton County Clerk's Office, that was circulated online with charges against former President Donald Trump. That fictitious document matched exactly the charges that we now see in this indictment. Can you tell us more about that document leak? Because now you have the former president's lawyers who are saying that this is emblematic of a serious problem with your office.
No, I can't tell you anything about what you refer to. What I can tell you is that we had a grand jury here in Fulton County. They deliberated till almost 8 o'clock, if not right after 8 o'clock. An indictment was returned. It was true billed, and you now have an indictment. I am not an expert on clerks' duties or even administrative duties. I wouldn't know how to work that system, and so I'm not going to speculate. Next question.
Have you had any contact with the special counsel about overlap between these cases, and do you intend?
Hey, yo. Boy, this question is ironic. They said, have you had any contact with the special counsel? Y'all know what contact she had with the special counsel, right?
Do I intend to try the 19 defendants in this indictment together? Yes.
And have you had any contact with the special counsel about the overlap between this indictment and the federal indictment?
I'm not going to discuss our investigation at this time. I'm going to take.
What do you make of the arguments made by former President Trump that this is a politically motivated indictment?
I make decisions in this office based on the facts and the law. The law is nonpartisan. That's how decisions are made in every case. To date, this office has indicted, since I've been sitting as a district attorney, over 12,000 cases. This is the 11th RICO indictment. We followed.
And she's bragging about this. You hear this? And this is what Labat was talking about. I got to give him credit. Oh, we've indicted 12. What does that mean? And if y'all remember, this is the RICO specialist here standing to Fani Willis's right. What does that mean? What were those indictments? Are we just out here indicting ham sandwiches? Like, what's going on, man?
I make decisions in this office.
It's all a bit. It's
facts and the law.
Been about her career.
Completely nonpartisan.
This whole time.
That's how decisions are made in every case. To date, this office has indicted, since I've been sitting as a district attorney, over 12,000 cases. This is the 11th RICO indictment. We follow the same process. We look at the facts, we look at the law, and we bring charges.
Will you try this case yourself? Has the jury been cleared? Get down.
Oh, of course she's going to try this case herself. All right, so that's a little bit of rewind for Fani Willis. We should have all seen this coming. I think most of us did. But at the end of the day, we have to hold ourselves accountable because Fani Willis just got voted back in here in Fulton County, and it disgusts me. And, you know, I really care about what happens, especially now seeing and learning more about the justice system. Ever since I served on a grand jury here in Fulton County, my eyes were open to a lot of the things that go on with the legal system here and around the United States, really. So, man, y'all get involved, stay active. Let me know what you think about this little rewind of Fani Willis. I don't know who's going to be on their side at the end of this. My goodness. Shout out to y'all, man. Thank you to everybody. We've got 100% of y'all that like the video. Sheesh. Thank y'all. We've got more Fani Willis to go too. We're about to have a Fani Willis roast session, and this is gonna get ugly. I mean, it's just gets worse and worse and worse. If y'all haven't seen anything that happened so far with Fani Willis, wait until we get into these next couple of videos because, oh man, Chelsea, you're not late. You were right on time because we're really going to be able to show and see why Fani Willis is in this situation that she's in. Good morning to Rebecca. Good to see you in here. My guy Anton Bishop's in the building too. Politics and emotion don't mix. Nope. Michelle is in here as well. Is this live or did I miss it? This is live. Yes, we are live. World's End says Rice Street has become an overflowing murder hole and shame to the state. Doing great with that ego, your fanniness. Not to mention, shame on the Department of Justice for saying that Rice Street is functioning just fine and that they could keep it open. Like, how? Love Moves says, but Rice Street double full, not cleaning up cases. She should have processed 24,000. 12,000 is not the brag she thinks it is. And there's been backlogs too because of COVID. They still haven't cleared the backlog up. It's just a mess, man. It's an absolute mess. Good morning, Enrique. Good to see you in here. Who else did I miss? Happy New Year. And thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. And thank y'all for the super chats as well. Oh, man. Anton Bishop says, power will make you or break you. Most people can't handle it. Let's be real. And I'm not going to go down that route just because I want to have a good show. But certain people just aren't built for it. Syndicated News says, we try to inform ClassE Beats, but he says we're not going to discuss Cosby. You have to look at it. That's where we're going to start. You're still on Syndicated News. Do you have videos on Bill Cosby? I will send people over there. I do not care about Bill Cosby. I have Bill Cosby. That's not my thing. I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in a bunch of adults who were partying and some things went the way they didn't want it to go. That's not interesting to me. But if you covered it and people can, and I can point people that direction, since you seem really passionate about what happened to Bill Cosby, please let me know. Legally Bomb says, good morning, brother, from your number one supportive ATL attorney. Oh, shout out to Legally Bomb up in here. Shout out to the amazing attorneys on this channel. The Honorable Legally Bomb. Appreciate you. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year from Jay-Z. Happy New Year from Shelby. Bill Cosby and Playboy Mansion alleged minors and witnesses. Yeah, y'all go check out Syndicated News. They love talking about Bill Cosby. You can't be a host and say you're not interested. It's my channel. I can do whatever I want. When you're ready to hear it, I'll tell you I was there. I do not want to hear about Bill Cosby. Unless we're talking about Coogee sweaters or something. Cosby straight up assaulting people. Yep. I think there's a lot that could. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in that. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, y'all go check out Syndicated News. They have everything Bill Cosby. Love Moose says, it only matters if a rich dude did it. No one sues the broke dudes who got frisky with them 30 years ago. We don't want to talk about that. Sue Pickett says, I'm going to pray for those folks at Rice Street. Yeah. Nobody should have to deal with that situation, whether they're guilty of something or not. It's inhumane. Do people realize they waited 40 years? Some of these people to make accusations against that man. I'm not gonna do it. Rice Street said Bill Cosby is 123 years old. Leave him alone. Yeah, shout out to Bill Cosby's Coogee sweaters, man. Let me get that wardrobe. I don't know if I could fit into him though. Bill Cosby was a hefty man. I say was like he's not here anymore. All right, this is gonna be a fun one. Y'all are gonna enjoy this. Shout out to Law and Crime for putting this together.
Isn't it true that you met Mr.
Y'all know we have been consuming a ton of Law and Crime content over the past 6 months plus, it seems like. Either way, they put together some of the highlighted moments from when Fani Willis actually was in trial, well, was on the stand, we'll say, and her and Ashley Merchant were going back and forth. This gets crazy. So if y'all haven't seen this yet, or if you didn't watch the entire the entire proceedings, make sure you go check that out. Also, if you want a really good in-depth a review of this with some great commentary, go check out the Lead Attorney. I watched this entire court proceedings over on the Lead Attorney channel, and he did an amazing job, always giving commentary, breaking it down from a legal standpoint, and really talking about what was going on in the courtroom. But let's see what's going on with this. And shout out to Law and Crime.
Isn't it true that you met Mr. Wade in October 2019 at a judges conference?
We haven't gotten to the point where Ms. Willis should be treated also under the situation.
I think we have.
I very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Yeah, we saw this the other day.
Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
A Fulton County District Attorney in charge of criminally prosecuting former President Donald Trump for interference in the 2020 election shockingly took the stand during a hearing in the case. Fani Willis had sought to avoid testifying about the allegation she was in a romantic relationship with the special prosecutor she assigned to the Trump case. But in an about-face, she stormed into the courtroom and she insisted that she testify.
With her dress on backwards.
Mr. Wade visited you at the place you laid your head.
When?
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth,
Judge.
And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Ms. Willis?
Mr.
Sano, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes.
The Fulton County District Attorney made headlines when she brought RICO charges against the former president and more than a dozen of his campaign staff. In an extraordinary moment, Willis marched into the Atlanta courtroom while attorneys were arguing over whether she should be forced to testify. As she approached the prosecutor's table in court, she looked before the judge, and as the
he definitely
entire
visited
gallery
her, for
watched,
sure.
she uttered 4 simple words: "I'm ready to go."
Oh, man.
I would ask, I need 3 documents in front of me, and they're the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant.
Look at her. She bring me my papers now. I don't know. Can we get official verdict on this? Is her dress backwards or not? Because you look at the back of it, it doesn't look like it was backwards, but I don't know. I don't think we ever got a decision on this. Somebody asked Ashley.
Merchant. Does the court have the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant?
When you say the filings, you mean like the pleadings?
The pleadings, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
It is on backwards.
We can those for you in the supplemental.
Yo, Nathan Wade and Fani Willis had an ex parte before she went to court. Y'all said it is backward.
I want the one filed on January the 8th.
Oh, man.
The one filed immediately after we filed ours. And
that's
the final
crazy.
one.
If you want to take a break to get them, I can make a copy. I think we have one.
You know, the only copy I have is going to have my notes on it. So if we don't have a clean copy,
Have a 5-minute break, Your Honor.
Let's
I'll get
take
the documents.
all right.
I'll sit here and wait for him.
Kiki said it's not backwards. I don't know. We got to vote on it, I guess. Oh, she was big mad.
Defense attorneys asked Willis to clear up the timeline of when she hired Wade, as they argue Willis hired him after the two were involved in a romantic relationship.
And we all know
These niggas lacking.
that is not true. That was a lie.
Let's start back in 2019.
Yep.
So you and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct. And I think in one of your motions you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive. I stayed at that conference.
Offensive, is it
Mr.
true?
Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside talking to Lisa Reeves, who is a judge. Me and her were just having a conversation. Mr. Wade walks up. I think they hug each other. They have some brief conversation. She introduces us.
But Robin Yurdy, Willis's old college friend, told the court earlier the romantic relationship began in October of 2019. Willis
And we're going to get into that full interview shortly, because the interview from her roommate is insane, if y'all didn't see it.
previously lived in Yurty's condo prior to their fallout, and the defense hammered her on whether Wade visited the condo prior to the election interference case. But Willis fired back, asserting the defense accusations were all lies.
How often did Mr. Wade visit you at a place where you were living between 2019 and 2021?
So you want to start with the lie that he lived with me in South Fulton in 2019, a home he's never been to? That's one lie you told in your document. No.
Judge, I didn't ask her about that.
Ms. Merchant, I want you to ask a very precise question. I think
Poor
she's
Judge
saying
McAfee.
and answering that he did not live with her. So why don't we break that up into smaller
Ever.
parts?
And I didn't ask about living.
But you put in your, while we're talking about professionalism, while we're talking about professionalism, she put in 3 different documents
Well,
he
she'll
lived
have
with me.
full opportunity to respond.
Oh, did she throw stuff?
In
And
2000
filed that with the court.
In
Professional.
2019,
Dang.
He's never been to South Fulton. In 2019, I lived in South Fulton. He has never been to my residence in 2019, ever, not once.
in
2020?
2019, he's never been to your residence, any place.
I lived in my home in South Fulton before I started getting the threats that
It's
were
50-50.
here. A house I paid for with my own sweat and tears. I'm no longer able to live there. But in 2019, I did. And in the 2 months of 2019 that I knew Mr. Wade, 3 months, the beginning of October, all of November, and all of December, Mr. Wade never came to my house in South Fulton. Let me help you out. I lived there in 2020. He never came to my house in 2020, let alone live with me, as you put falsely in these documents. In the first 3 months of 2021, when I could still enjoy my home, Mr. Wade never came to South Fulton, and it is certainly a lie that he lived with me.
Then it came time to question Willis about the vacations the two took together and who paid for the
Can't
trips.
lie about that.
Talk about, you said that sometimes you paid Miss Yurdy cash.
I don't
When
think
you
I-
went I'm sorry. When you went on vacation with Mr. Wade, let's just go one by one. Let's start with the first one. What's the first time you went on vacation with Mr. Wade?
Oh, she didn't have a snappy response for that one. She's like, ooh, should I tell them about before this started? How define a vacation?
I think the first time we went on vacation was around April of 22. A vacation is a stretch, but I'm trying to be comprehensive. I recall April of 22. His birthday is March the 18th. So that would have been his 49th birthday. I took him to like Tennessee for the day. I think we went to a museum. I think we might have stayed the night. I'm not sure.
Oh, I bet they did.
I mean, Tennessee's kind of hard to call a vacation, but I just am trying to be inclusive. And it, like I said, I know it wasn't more than a day.
So you're gonna spend the night?
I think that we did. That's what I'm telling you. I think that there's a possibility that we stayed that night in April of 22.
Who paid for the hotel?
More ex parte.
It was his birthday.
When did you start dating?
When I started dating Mr. Wade, it was right around then.
April 2020?
22, yes.
2022.
It was around then. I don't know, like, you know, it's not like when you're in grade school and you send a little letter and it says, will you be my girlfriend, and you check it. I don't know the day that we started seeing each other, but it was early 22 is my recollection.
Okay, early 22. And you all went to Florida on vacation as well?
I don't recall going to Florida on vacation with him.
You never went to Florida with Mr. Wade?
When we went to get on the cruise ship, we went to Miami.
Okay, that's the only time that you went to Florida with him?
I think we went to Miami and spent the night. That's my recollection.
Okay.
I think we spent one night so that we wouldn't miss the ship. That's my recollection of our
vacation. Who paid for that hotel?
In Miami? I don't remember that.
And how'd you get to Miami?
Oh, I know who paid for it. All the Fulton County taxpayers. Me, Amy. Who else is in here is in Fulton County? Y'all paid for that. We paid for it.
We would have flown. And we've done that, so that I'm clear, we've done that twice. I think one time we stayed, and I honestly can't tell you, did we stay when the ship left or did we stay when the ship came back? I also can't tell you, so there's 2 cruises out of Miami. There's one that's in that October time period that was with his mom. And then there was another that was a New Year's Eve trip. I know I paid for the New Year's Eve trip because the tickets were $697 each. And I thought this is ridiculous that the tickets are $700 to go to Miami. But when you travel during New Year's Eve, you know, they get you.
So let's just back up and talk about the first time that you went to Florida with Mr. Wade. That was the time that you said you stayed in Miami at the hotel the first night?
That's the time I told you I am not sure. So I'm not sure of 2 things. So I want to make sure that my testimony is clear. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the October trip. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the December trip. I just can't remember that. And I also don't remember, so that the record is clear, I don't remember if the necessity was as we got on the ship or we got off the ship. But I do remember there was a night spent in Miami because either whatever. I don't remember. But I think that there was a night spent in Miami.
That cruise is the one that you took in October, right?
Ma'am, if you have something to refresh my recollection, I'm intentionally trying to not be difficult with you, but I don't want to make up something.
Right.
I know that on one of those 2 trips, we stayed in Miami. I am not sure right now. You're asking me about...
Oh, I'm sorry, you misunderstood. I was not asking you which night you stayed in Miami. I'm asking if you took a cruise in October 2022 with Mr. Wade.
Yes, and his mom.
And his mother. That's what I was asking.
Yes.
Is that the first time you met his mother?
Yes.
It was on that cruise, and that was Royal Caribbean, I believe?
I honestly don't remember what ship. I know we've taken 2 cruises. I don't know.
She don't remember. Come on.
But he paid for the flight and the cruise on Royal Caribbean that time.
So yes, he was married. He is the original one that does it. He has something called, Mr. Wade is a world traveler. I'm not as versed as him. He's been to 6 of the 7 continents. And so he has both a personal travel agent and he also has a cruise travel agent. I don't know anything about either of those kind of travel agents. So he is the one that would book the travel. But we need to be clear when we're talking about just because he booked it doesn't mean, like, I don't consider him having taken me anyplace. Let me just be honest. The only point that's ever taken somebody someplace is for his 50th birthday. I consider that I took him to Belize. And I took him to Belize because, you know, I don't want to discuss his personal business, but I'm happy Mr. Wade is still here with us. And I did 50 big, very big.
When it came to how Willis reimbursed Wade for the chips together, she responded she always kept cash on her, thanks to a tip she pointed out that she got from her father.
And then after that cruise, you all flew to Aruba and spent a couple days in a hotel
She
there,
keeps
correct?
it in the mattress,
And his mother
in the
was not happy.
pillowcase.
He
And we left her
initially
behind.
paid for that. He initially paid for that.
For Aruba, yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about both of those. I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
For the cruise and for Aruba, yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
You gave him cash before you ever went on the trip?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM?
She said no, lady.
So Fulton County pays
Disrespectful.
you
Dang.
direct deposit, I assume?
Yes, Fulton County and the state of Georgia both pay me direct deposits.
Okay. So the cash that you would pay him, you wouldn't get it out of the bank?
I have money in my house.
You have money in your house. So it was just money that was there?
When you meet my father, he's going to tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times. Now, I don't know why this old black man feels like that, but he does.
That's
when
crazy.
we were growing up, my daddy had 3 safes in the house. So my father's bought me a lockbox, and I always keep cash in the house. Now, I don't do it to the degree that my father would do it, so he would probably be ashamed with me.
Exactly.
But I always have cash at the house. That has been, I don't know, all my life.
Her dad's
If you're a
testimony
woman and
did
you go
not
on a
help
date
her.
with a man, you better
I
have
agree.
$200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. So I keep cash in my house, and I don't keep cash as good in my purse like I used to, because I don't go on many dates. But when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
You've never given Mr. Wade
What?
money through Cash App?
No.
The only money you've ever given him outside of a contract is cash.
I didn't give him money in a contract, so that was cute. But I didn't give him money outside in a contract.
Y'all, this is in court in front of a judge. Legal proceedings. That was cute. This is our district attorney. Jeez, man.
What happened? No, we're going to answer it since you said it. He worked. He worked more hours than he was paid, and the county paid him for the work that he did. So
I paid him.
Don't be cute with me and then think that you're not going to get an answer.
And I will ask you about the contract in a minute. I asked you about cash. Did you ever pay him anything? And I'm trying to qualify my questions. I'm not talking about the contract with Fulton
Disgusting.
County that was paid. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about outside of that. Did you ever pay him anything other than cash?
I've only given him cash a few times in the course of what we're talking about.
So you've
if
never
we
used
would
your
go to
credit
dinner,
Let her finish her answer.
if we would go to dinner, I wouldn't give him cash because he paid for
Oh,
dinner.
now Judge
or I paid
McPhee
for
wants
dinner.
to interject.
I've given him cash only a few times in life, probably 4.
Okay.
Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500. The least amount of money I've handed him, probably between $500 and $1,000.
Throughout her testimony, Willis
That was
maintained
cute.
she was not the one on trial.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
And well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial.
Yes, you are. And this is the problem. So this is kind of what Ashley Merchant was talking about. She eventually went to another trial and she was going to force Fani Willis to produce these documents. Again, subpoenaed. And she's like, I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to do it. This is how she rolls.
No matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
So my question
You're on trial
was,
now.
Do you have any
I
problem?
object to you getting any personal records of mine.
We're not dealing with.
All right, so that's Fani Willis, y'all. Give her a round of applause because somehow she was able to get 4 more years here in Fulton County. I don't know what I did wrong, but sheesh. This is just the beginning because we still have more to get into. I had a few more videos I wanted to get into. We'll see how far we get, but let me know what y'all think about this in the comments, man. Some of y'all said Trash. Amy said, more hours than he was paid. Some of those hours, ma'ams, you were getting laid. Look at Amy with the bars. Amy got the bars early this morning. Nasty work. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Oh, man. I'm telling y'all, though, this is Fani Willis is all arrogant now. I don't know if somebody told her something behind the scenes. Maybe when she met with Kamala and the mayor of Atlanta, she was told something or made certain promises. Now there's a power shift, and I don't know if she's going to make it out of this. I don't know. Amy with the bars. Y'all see her up there? Richard Dixon said, what you talking about, Willis?
These niggas lacking.
She wasn't satisfied, though. She threw some indirect about emasculating. Oh, Fani was all over the place. I'm going to drop the link. I'll have the link in the description to that video so y'all can go finish watching it if you want to over on Law and Crime. Amazing work on this. Also, Les Cleaver in the building, gifted 5 memberships. Appreciate you, Les. If you got a membership from Les, make sure you say thank you. The World's End says, thank goodness for Ashley Merchant and her determination to get to the truth. Absolutely. I mean, she single-handedly just took Fani Willis head on and absolutely demolished her. Got the trial on hold, was able to get her on the stand, then got her on the stand again to get these documents that Fani Willis was trying to hold back. And now Fani Willis is about to be held accountable for what she did. Absolutely insane. Michelle says she doesn't know. They will gladly throw her under the bus. She sure is funny. No pardon for Fani from Biden's pardons. That's exactly what I said, Michelle. Not even Kamala. And I don't know. I didn't look up to see if she's safe from anything. But let me see. I'll have to do some research into that. But I don't think she has any type of immunity. So I don't know. And it seems like Joe Biden's kind of like, oh, y'all didn't want me to have a second chance at being president? I got something for you, Hunter. I'll see you at the house. Fani, Kamala, good luck to you. Trump, they're all yours. We'll see what happens. Dustin B says she needs to go up on RICO charges. Seems like Georgia's act would apply. Oh, she's going to get hit with something more than that. J Flo says, I bet Trump's going to fire her before February 1st. He does not have the power to do that, but he does have the power to go after. Yeah, Fauci. I don't want to talk about Fauci. Oh, man. Yeah. She did not just accuse Miss Merchant of lying when she's the biggest liar. Yes, she absolutely did. Absolutely did. All right, let's go ahead and get in this next one. So we brought up in the last video the roommate of Fani Willis, and she saw a lot of things. She seemed a little bit bitter, but she was also got on the stand and was taking some shots at Fani as well. We're going to go into that and some of the interesting stories she had from her time staying with Fani and what happened there. Again, this is all going into the background, doing a little bit of a rewind, showing how Fani Willis got into the situation she's in now. Here we go.
Would you like me to swear her, Judge? Or?
I think we need
Shout out to Robin.
Deputy Scott, if we could swear in the witness.
Yeah, Judge McAfee was just up there chilling.
Yes, I can.
All right. Raise your right hand, ma'am. You swear affirm to the testimony you get a court will be the truth. Whether the truth will help you.
Yes.
Would you please state and spell your full name for the court?
Robin Latrice Yerdy.
Thank you, Ms. Yerdy. Thank you for being here. Can you tell the judge when you first met Miss Willis?
in college.
Still talking about the zipper.
Okay, so probably 90 or 91.
Okay. And have you been friends since 1990 or 91?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last time you spoke with Miss Willis?
March of 2022.
Okay. From 1991-ish till 2022, were you what you would consider good friends with Miss Willis?
Yes.
Okay. And did you all share personal information regularly?
Yes.
And did you even come and work with her at the DA's office?
Yes.
And when she needed a place to stay, did you let her stay at your apartment? It was a condo, right?
Yeah, they're not friends anymore.
Do you remember approximately when she moved into your condo?
It was April of 2021.
Okay, great. And you know that Ms. Willis and Ms. Wade met at a conference in October of 2019?
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor, without a foundation for how this witness would know that. If Ms. Merchant can establish she has personal information of that, then certainly that's something the witness can testify to. But if it's she heard
Understood,
it
Ms. Cross. All right, Ms. Merchant, if you could lay the foundation.
Do you have information that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade met in October of 2019?
I'm going to renew my objection, Your Honor. Information is not sourced to personal information. If the question can be rephrased, then that may address my concern.
So Judge, I just want to make sure that I understand. So they've objected to me calling Willis and Wade.
It's just a matter of foundation. If you can just rephrase.
Do you have knowledge
of
when Willis and Wade met?
I'm going to object again. Personal knowledge.
Overruled.
Thank you. Do you have personal knowledge of when Willis and Wade met?
Yes. She told me that they met at a conference. I don't know what.
Okay.
I'm going to renew my objection, Your Honor. Clearly, this is not firsthand information from this witness. It's hearsay that was...
it's not hearsay.
Yes,
it's not hearsay.
Statement against interest, Judge. If Ms. Willis...
Just pause.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Ms.
Yes.
Cross.
It's not hearsay.
The testimony of the witness
Fanny
was
told her that.
Ms. Willis, District Attorney Willis, had a conversation with her. There is no statement against interest. District Attorney Willis is not a party opponent in this case. The information that the witness has testified to came from Ms. Willis, and there's we have a hearsay objection to that.
Why wouldn't she be considered a party opponent in this context?
She's a representative of the state, Your Honor. This isn't private litigation or civil litigation. Obviously, the courts aware this is. Ms. Willis is not on trial.
Probably
Ms. Willis is not a party to the litigation outside her obligation to pursue criminal charges for the state.
Ms. Merchant, I guess it's evolved into a hearsay objection.
Yes, Judge, and we plan on calling Ms. Willis to the stand. She's under subpoena, so hearsay will be cured. If there is a hearsay objection as far as that issue. But we do still think that it's a statement against interest. Ms. Willis has filed a document that states that they met at this municipal court conference. So,
Your Honor, I think maybe I can streamline a little bit. State will stipulate that District Attorney Willis and Mr.
There's
Wade
Adam Abadi, our guys back at it.
At the judicial conference that we've been talking about. There's no reason to get it secondhand from this witness. Well, that's true.
All right, you accept the stipulation, Ms. Merchant?
Yes.
All right.
Am I permitted then to ask questions about that since it's now not hearsay?
If it's just to a stipulation, if it's just to that basic fact, I don't think we need a question, but if there's a follow-up that you think is admissible, go for it.
Ms. Yeardy, you have personal knowledge that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade began their romantic relationship soon after this time that they met at the municipal court.
I'm going to object to that question. That certainly is a leading question. No foundation has been laid for how this witness would have personal knowledge of that. Until that's happened, the state objects.
Lay the foundation there, Ashley.
You can do a yes or no and then follow up with how she knows it.
Thank you. Do you know if Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade started dating in October of 2019?
I don't know if it was October of 2019.
Could it possibly be November of 2019?
Could possibly.
Okay. And when we spoke, you said it was shortly after the municipal court conference, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that their relationship, their personal relationship, began shortly after this municipal court conference.
Yes.
And when I say personal, romantic.
It was way before that.
I just want to make sure we don't get in an argument over what personal and romantic is later. When I ask you personal, do you take that to mean romantic?
Just say yes. Jeez.
And do you understand it that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her?
Yes.
And you were essentially her best friend during this time, right?
Not best friend.
Yeah.
Good friend.
Good friend. Okay, close friend. And so would you frequently socialize with her?
Yes.
And you saw her at work every day?
Yes.
So you had a chance to see them interact together on a personal level?
Yes.
And so from everything that you saw, heard, witnessed, it's your understanding that they were in a romantic relationship beginning in 2019?
Yes.
And when you left the DA, oh, I'm sorry, let me ask you, you said that Ms. Willis came to live with you in April of 2021, I'm sorry, April 1st, 2020 or 2021?
She didn't live with me. I never lived with her.
Okay, I'm sorry. She took over your lease in April 1st, 2020, correct?
No, 2021.
Okay, I had it both ways, so I'm glad you
John
clarified.
said, would you tell her dress is on backwards?
April 1st, 2021.
Oh,
it's your
man.
understanding she moved out of the house that she was sharing with her father and started staying at the condo?
Yes.
And is it your understanding that that's because she needed to have her own space?
Yes.
Away from her father?
Yes.
Okay. When you left the DA's office, was it, were you fired?
No, I resigned.
You resigned, okay. Just one moment, Judge. Can you tell us why you resigned the DA's office?
Because she was tired of hearing the ex parte meetings between Nathan Wade and Fani Willis at home and at work. It's just too much. He was back there yelling gorilla grip, and she was like, I can't take it.
The number of things that was happening.
It's embarrassing,
A number of
man.
things that were happening. Is that what you said, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. What was happening that caused you to resign?
She couldn't take it.
It was
Tell the truth.
Thing, so, I guess the last straw is I was put in a department that I knew had no knowledge about. Something happened, and I didn't like it. They didn't like it, and that was it.
Okay.
We know
Did you
what
have
happened.
any falling outs with Miss Willis?
Well, we never spoke after that.
You never spoke after that. Okay.
That would be a falling out. So yes.
And so you're, without going into all the painstaking details, there is no doubt in your mind that from 2019 until 2022, Miss Willis and Mr. Wade were in a romantic relationship.
What's the question?
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
Okay. And that's based on your personal observations and
I hope so.
and speaking with them and seeing them together and things like that.
Yes.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you. The other folks may have some questions for you, Mr. Yurdi.
Stay down.
You want me to go to the
If it's more than a couple questions, then sure, but if not.
It's only a couple questions.
Okay.
I think, can the court reporter hear me okay?
Rice Street's always in there hating.
Ma'am,
Come on, man.
Let me be very specific. Did you talk with Miss Willis about her romantic relationship with Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Did Miss Willis tell you on more than one occasion that she was engaged in a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to you leaving the district attorney's office?
Did she tell me or did I observe?
I'm straight right now with the tell me.
Yes.
Did she tell you that in the year of 2020?
Yep.
Yes.
In the year of 2021?
Yes.
Are you certain that Ms. Willis told you about the romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
Now, did you also have observations of Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis together prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
And are those observations, were those in a social setting?
Yes.
And did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Mr. Stocks.
John said
Ma'am, I
gross.
understand you to say that
You sound like me, John.
time with you and Miss Willis lived together.
No.
Mr. Durham.
That's an interesting line of question from the defense in this case. Not really defense, but yeah.
No, nothing for me, Your Honor.
Mr. McDougall.
Wild.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mr. Rice.
Good morning, Ms. Yardie. Were you aware in 2021 of any trips, social trips that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade took together?
No.
Are you aware of any social trips that Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade took together in 2022?
No.
I did.
Are you aware of them in 2020 or 2021 spending the evening together overnight?
No.
That's an interesting line of question because it really points out to them having a relationship before everything went down. Now y'all can say what you want, but I mean, she was there all up in it. I gotta pick my phrasing carefully. Anyway, she was there. She saw what was going on firsthand. And as Fani will attest to, even herself, I mean, they knew each other before this, before everything started. And it's just going to come back to haunt her. Not looking great.
Mr. Gillen.
Clean Talks for Clean Folks says, I think you're right. Those aren't earrings. Those are super ghetto, fabulous eyeglass change. Hey, shout out to the eyeglasses. I'm rocking with them. Y'all are feeling them? I think they're nice. We've got one more thing we're going to get into. I think I have one more. Let me see. Oh, no, we already got that. So I think we did it, y'all. I know it was a quick live stream today, but y'all aren't rocking with the glasses and the chains. I think it's very creative. How nice to be able to testify from the comfort of your own home, though. Ann F says, I did not need that visualization today, Fani and Nathan. Oh, man. I ruined Ann's lunch. I apologize, Ann. Right Street said, I bet that wig is held down by on zip ties. Golly. Oh, man. Michelle says, I did not mean that sarcastic, classy beats. I mean that. I never want to get your YouTube channel in trouble. Just didn't think about it. Oh, what did you say, Michelle? What was the comment? I might have missed it. Dang, I might have missed your comment, Michelle. I apologize. Ashley Merchant is running through Fani like an Arkansas trooper pit a speeding car. Ashley Merchant is running through Fani like Nathan Wade. All right, that's enough Fani jokes for today, but they did this to themselves. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for the love. I know it was a quick live stream. Make sure if you haven't yet, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we drop a new video or go live. Now, it is a new year that is on the way, but we are not done. We are not going to stop. We're going to be here every single weekday, bringing y'all updates on the YSL trials starting next week. man, we've got another trial we're going to start covering, which is the Julio Fulio murder trial. Now, this one should be pretty straightforward. They got a lot of video evidence, which we reviewed here on the channel. If you haven't seen what was happening during that case, go back on my YouTube channel. We've got links to the videos there. And shout out again to Les Cleaver with the 5 bomb. He says, Happy New Year, family. God bless you all. Be safe. Don't go wild tonight. I want to see you all live and here tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to be here, man. Hope y'all have an amazing and happy new year. We're going to be back here tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure y'all tune in to pick up the new year on the right note. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Amy says, see y'all next year for sure. As always, y'all know what to do. Be safe out there tonight. Don't go crazy, like Les said. And of course, keep growing, keep pushing, and keep it classy. We gone. Peace, y'all.